Now.
Uh-oh.
Now they can hear us. They can hear us?
Testing.
Testing, testing, testing.
And test.
That was. Oh, yeah, okay. Hey, that was only like a minute of no sound. It's fine. Everyone's
We're
fine.
good.
We all just took that time to appreciate the new High Noon Saloon. You know, we could do it in silence.
I feel like you need to say that 10 times fast.
High Noon Saloon, 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 High Noon Saloon.
Boom. Dude,
Like it turned into high insulin or something. It's like I know how to stream or something, guys. I definitely don't. I hope that everyone is having a lovely Sunday afternoon. We were just saying how it's, you know, not the greatest outside, but at least it's not pouring sheets of rain. So, you know, that's nice. That's nice. Thank you. I'm glad that the background is appreciated, Ryan. Definitely wasn't a, like, 15 minutes before the stream started, I decided I wanted to do that, and that's why we're 7 minutes late or whatever we were.
What's up, Kenny?
Hope everyone's having a nice Sunday. Yeah,
we got a Cam. We got a Glenn.
We've got quite a few.
We got all these guys.
We've got quite a few. And, all the early arrivers, we appreciate you.
But yeah, so I'm just I'm not doing weird things. I'm cleaning my 3D printer right now, trying to get rid of all my old 3D prints.
Mike is going disc jockey on us. He's actually started DJing, and yeah, for sure. And then we've got T over here working on some cage work, obviously. I have an alarm set on my phone now. Good job, Cameron. I'm glad that we could be of high enough priority to get an alarm on your phone. That seems.
We're on the Cam's like radar now.
Yeah, like, apparently.
He wants to view this space more than once a while.
Okay, well, first topic that I usually try to cover is if we've done any trail running in the last week. The unfortunate answer for me is no. I haven't done anything this last week outside. It's been very, very unfortunate, actually. Been working on some cool stuff, but been very hunkered down. It's been cold and crappy outside, so I haven't really done much outside. Have you guys done any? Mike, I heard a solid no from you. No runs.
Solid no. I've been talking to you guys, and we all look at each other like, man, it would be nice to get out on the trail, but it's just been mucky and rainy and snowy and not that fun to be outside. I don't mind a wet run, but not when it's just ridiculous.
It's like 30 degrees outside. You're just asking to break stuff. Plastics become brittle.
I'm in the snow, but I haven't gone out yet.
I love running in the snow, honestly, but I will say the most amount of stuff that I've broken, like the most amount of plastics and stuff that I've broken, have definitely been while in the cold.
Yeah, I've broken a lot of metal or plastic housings, plastic axle housings in the wintertime.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you got a heavy rig with plastic axle housings or plastic hand-hard mount or anything like that, you're just looking for breakage.
I was surprised to snap my Capra cage in the cold once. Like one of the supporting arms. It's not even like one of the load-bearing sections of the cage, but it just hit a rock at the right angle and it was super cold and it just snapped like a twig.
Yeah, I want to say when I was out at Little Moab and my original Wraith 19 finally died, and it snapped on two parts of the cage. It was pretty cold, so yeah. I wouldn't be surprised. Cold doesn't
screw around, man.
Things. Yeah.
Okay, well that's a sad topic. Ooh, hey, way to spice up the topic.
I have this cage from an old buddy that said, "Here, have some parts to fix your 1.9." Well, I realized that I might as well just use all of his parts instead of try to take his parts and put them in my parts
I dig it.
and stuff.
I'm like, I feel like the noob of the hobby where you've got like the Vanquish sticker. That's a Vanquish sticker right in the center of the hood? I see that and I think it's like what is it, the Ripper? What's the like
Oh, yeah. I wish it was just Ripper. That would be dope.
but you get, I feel like there's I can't be the
I
only
would
one.
be
You get a few
If I had a
people with that.
Ripper, dude, I'd be holding up that 10 grams car a lot more on a lot more live streams. I do now.
That's fair, but that's a cool project. And then obviously we see what T's project is currently. It's like a replacement for like, oh, did you go on any trail runs? Like, well, we know that's a boring topic, so what have we been doing in replacement of going out on the trails? T's been doing metal work. Mike's been staring at his Jankwish Ripper.
My Jankwish Ripper. Thank you. No, actually, you know me. I've been telling you, I've been staring at my 3D printer for a little while.
Yes. Okay. So that's a good segment into our second and I feel like more interesting topic. So we sort of half-ass promise to bring a new 3D print. I say that in pure defense of myself here. You and I were gonna bring new 3D prints to the table that what we printed over the last week and see, just kind of share a new 3D print every week.
Should I line up all mine in front of me and then you show your one thing?
All right, screw you. I didn't even think about it. I didn't create the same High Noon Saloon for when I show my screen. So that's unfortunate. We'll lose the High Noon Saloon when I show my screen. That's okay.
Are you going first?
You say you were. I thought you were laying your stuff out first, and then I was going after that.
I was just kidding.
Goes
I have a lot.
Well, let's see. What was your print? Because mine.
All right.
Mine's a letdown.
So my print, I found it this morning when me and T were just kind of bullshitting on this Discord here. Is
you just gotta hold it there for a second longer. Yeah, that does come in better.
So what this is a GPS, a mini scale GPS to go on your dash.
I love it.
Or your windshield. And they actually have a little PDF file that I can print the sticker.
It's like the like navigation. It's got like the stickers, like actually the screen. Oh, it's pretty good.
It has like the little map and everything, which way to go and everything. And you can find that on Colts 3D, and it's a free file.
Yeah, totally free. I thought that was pretty sweet. I do still question. I didn't say it on the stream, but I do still question whether or not that's going to. If it's going to print that well, or I'm sorry, not the 3D print itself, but if the sticker is going to print that well, or like if you need a really good printer to get it to print that well, because that's such a tiny little decal.
A 4K sticker.
Yeah, I know, but I would still want it to at least. I'd want to be able to see the little arrow, be able to tell that it's like navigation. I don't know that my printer would even get that.
Going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. You're going the wrong way. Hi, Mike Bird. I'm going to give you a call out because I actually beat you on Alex chat, his stream of his last video. You always say hi first. And I'm on the tracks early morning taking my ride to work, and I always see you going, "Hi, Alec," and I was just like, dang it, I'm never first. But I beat you last time.
It's always there's like just 2 or 3 of you guys that are on there, like on the live chat competing. I've openly acknowledged it. I believe that I am not awake for the 5:30 premieres. I can't do it. I've done it. I've scheduled it that way for other people. I don't know if I've openly acknowledged it on the stream, but I've scheduled it that way so that other people can have the stream in the morning. And they can watch the video on their way to work or before they go to work, but I will be asleep. So, yeah, there's that.
What's your 3D print, bud? What do you got?
Okay, all right. I didn't think about this, but we gotta move some. Hold on, I gotta
Oh,
move
he's
my
got to do
streaming
stuff.
software over here. I didn't really consider the fact that I would be showing my screen, and I got it's just we can't do that. Can't take that lightly. Oh, and I just closed the Thingiverse. No. Okay, that's fine. It'll be easy to find. This
That
isn't
thing
for
is a
the.
thing of beauty.
It is okay.
There. See, I always like
Thanks.
looking at that old rig. For those you don't know, that's the rig that started the SLUT Crawlers, I feel like, almost. It was one of his
Yeah.
OG hard bodies that he loved taking pictures of. The Zim.
The original.
Okay, this is
Dead.
what I'm. Oh, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Now it's just showing my face. Well, it's just gonna show my face while I'm showing this. This is the 3D print. I'm pretty sure they can still hear you. They just can't see you. So these are completely 100% PLA printed snow tracks, and there's no like extra pieces needed at all. As long as you have filament, it uses like filament pieces for cotter pins for everything, so to hold it all together. But it is a rather dope set of snow tracks, and since it got really cold and gross outside, that I was just kind of motivated to do this, and so that's why I don't have it to show necessarily, is because.
Does that mean I get to put a bet on this?
Are you what? All right, hold on. Let me get out of the screen. Let's go back to let's get real about this real quick. Let's acknowledge each other face to face.
I can see you.
Yeah. Here we go. Hold on. All right. I can see you.
Yeah,
All right.
let's
I'm
see
looking-
this thing. Ooh,
I'm looking
look
at
at that thing. It's ripping.
What's ripping?
We can. I'm watching the little.
Oh, you're
video.
watching the actual stream.
So,
I'm not,
all right.
no, okay.
We're
All right.
calling each other out here.
I guess so.
So
I guess you're calling me out, is what it seems like.
you get to pick a thing that I have to build, and you have to build this before the snow is gone. And I'm calling by the end of mid-April. This has to be working.
But I get to pick a thing that you can build.
Realistic.
How? Well, I mean, this.
You know my building parameters. So realistic. What could I do?
All right. I don't hate this. This is pretty good. Okay. So I can find some wild thing, but as long as I think it's within your capabilities, then you have to.
I'm gonna ask for help, maybe.
Okay. Deal.
From you.
By the time the snow disappears, bro.
You gotta build 4 of those. I know you're a busy man too.
4? What do you mean 4?
You gotta build 4 working tracks for your Capra.
Well, yeah, but that's the point. You think I can't do that? You have that low confidence in me that you think that it's gonna take me November, December, January, February, March, April.
How many working pieces is it?
I don't know. I haven't looked that closely at it yet.
All right, everyone's heard it. Alec gets to pick something.
Yep.
And then he has to build those working Capra tracks.
The next live stream.
Second week of April. Leave it a little blurred so he gets like a little plus or minus.
I feel challenged for sure.
People, hold on.
What's happening?
Uh-oh. He's getting rumbly.
He's just gonna be loud. He's on the live stream. It's gonna be loud. Don't mind me over here. I'm just filing down some metal.
We're just getting crazy. At least my project's quiet.
It's good. We've discovered earlier when I put this is how we know that the Discord sound thing, like the sound modulation or whatever is good, is if you can just put a Dremel up to your microphone. Totally fine. Didn't hear nothing. You didn't even get any of that, did you?
Yeah,
I
Alec.
Yeah, it's pretty good. That is pretty impressive.
So what are we looking forward to? Since we didn't do anything, we're done with our little 3D print mania, and I dared you to do a project, and you're gonna dare me to do a project. What are we looking forward to, boys? I think that's one thing.
Yeah, I mean, I would say like upcoming kind of events to look forward to would be definitely. Are you guys trying to make it down to the sub for Santa?
Yep.
Is
Yeah,
are
plan.
both of you guys coming down for that? I did not hear you there, T.
I said, yeah, I want to.
Yo, you do want to? Yeah, I think that's gonna be pretty fun. That's December 3rd, right?
December 3rd, Saturday.
Yeah.
Airport Road.
Airport Road. Sub for Santa RC Comp on Facebook. Airport Parkway.
Real cool spot. Lots of rocks. Lots of rocks you can go climb on after you're done comping.
I've heard there's
Definitely
going to be
entertaining.
a ton of like vendors that are contributing to this. It's kind of incredible. Pretty cool.
I mean, off the top of my head, what they say, like Shift RC, Team Garage Hack, G Speed. Who else?
I didn't hear who you said to start with. I only heard G Speed. Just like go for it.
Quite a few. Team Garage Hack, G Speed, Shift RC, couple others. I can't remember.
Yeah, definitely.
Probably some D's bands up in there.
Quite a few, and toy donations are going to local families in need, which I thought was super cool. So, Sub for Santa, that's December 3rd. I don't know if everyone's trying to make it out to that. There's the coming up sooner. I think the first event that I went to was the Silver State 200. The first big event that I went to. I think I made, well, maybe it wasn't this one that I made the video for. No, I think it was. I made the video about like how to be prepared for a RC event.
The first
afterwards.
event, Alec, you went to was an 801 event.
The Silver State 200.
Moab.
Oh.
And it was still snow.
No.
And I met you out there, and we were rallying your Bronco.
Was that before? Because the Silver State is in November. No, I'm pretty sure I went to the Silver State before I went to that one. I think that might have been the first one that I met you at.
Maybe that's where you met me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I saw you out there with what's his name? What's your buddy that drives Subaru?
Oh, Derek. Was out there?
I think I saw you out there in Wendover with Derek, but I didn't know who you were. I didn't say, hey, you're that I mean hobby guy.
Let's see. Cameron says I might be willing to do it with you. Are you talking about the tracks? Because if you're talking about the tracks, I'm always happy to have someone help me out with something really weird. The Sub for Santa, I'm sad to see that Cameron won't be joining us for that one. He's got to play Army that weekend, of course. Got to play dress up.
Make it so someone else will win.
Fair. Good point.
I mean, Cam, we love you to win and everything, but give us all else a chance, a little better.
And then I guess the 12th is next Saturday. Wow. Okay. So that's Silver State 200. Are you guys trying to go out to the Silver State 200? I like it out there. What's up?
Up in Wendover.
Yeah, that's the one out in West Wendover.
Would like to go, but depending on weather.
Depending on weather.
It does look like it's going to be a little cold.
Is it going to be a little cold out there?
Pretty cold, but I don't want it windy. Windy is the problem for me.
Cold isn't as big of a deal as windy. I mean, it can be cold without being windy, but it can't be windy without being cold.
Well, it can be windy and cold, and that sucks.
Yeah, exactly. You can try to make it.
Looks
Is
like
Ryan's gonna try to make it down? Is that gonna make it try to make it down to the Sub for Santa, or the Silver State? Both are gonna be fun events. I think I'm gonna try to make it out to both of them. See what next weekend looks like in terms of weather. I think I'm on the same page as UT, but I think I might be a little more lenient with the weather than you might be. I don't know. We both. What are you saying? You gotta say that we're gonna do like that. We have to freaking.
I don't care. I just don't want like a blizzard out there, like, or if it doesn't snow and it's just like 30-mile-an-hour winds, I don't want to go. There's no wind coverage.
Yeah, that is true. There's no trees or anything out there.
Cold can be cold, but wind, it pretty much chills you to the bone.
Yeah, that's true. That's last night when we were at that football game last night. Mike and I went to a football game, and it wasn't really cold, but the only
sheets of rain.
Well, it was sheets of rain, but the only time that it really started to feel cold at all is like towards the end when the wind hit. It was only when the wind hit that it was like, ooh, yeah, all right.
Yeah, and half the crowd left, so like the body heat of the crowd left too.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, we definitely we had like human space heating going on until everyone decided that it was too much for them. They didn't want to be there anymore. Yeah, that's okay.
Cameron, you said you started 3D printing today.
Yeah.
What kind of printer did you get, bud?
I was going to say, Cameron, welcome to the club, the Lose Your Insanity Club. Best of luck with that.
I hope he got Ender 3 so we can give some tips.
Yeah, I mean an Ender 3 for if he wants tips, but also maybe a Cura if he just doesn't if he doesn't want to need tips. If he just wants it to work. Or not a Cura, what is it? A Prusa.
For the water break. Hydrate, everyone. Hydrate. Very important.
Got to keep hydrated. This entire thing was full of iced coffee, so once you go through all that, you definitely got to hydrate especially well. The Ender 3 S1 Pro. Ender 3 S1 Pro. Interesting. Ender 3 S1 Pro.
Is that the direct feed?
Ooh.
Ender 3?
I don't know. It's more expensive than mine is. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes and yes.
Yes.
What are you saying?
Yes,
I think yes, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Looks pretty cool. Looks pretty nifty. I don't know how many tips we're gonna have for you with that one, but looks pretty cool.
Bigger build plate, I'm guessing.
Well, it does look like the drive type is a little different than it is on ours, and it doesn't. Yeah.
Does
I
it
don't
go
know. You
through
can
the
look at
top
it
of
for
it?
yourself. I'm not. Huh? What?
Does it go through the top of it, I'm guessing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the direct drive.
Direct drive. Yeah. I don't really.
So,
I don't know what the.
You could start printing Ninja Flex and everything with that.
Oh,
probably.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is Ninja Flex, ladies and gentlemen, is the filament that a lot of people use for 3D printed phones. Different kind of filament, has a little give to it.
It's like
but it's pretty strong still.
Stretches and like bends, and you can like take this foam
Do
and
the squiggly and diggly with it.
turn it into a little ball. Yeah, pretty cool. Well, that's exciting for you, Cameron. I'm very happy for you. So yeah, I mean, those are really what I mean. Besides, we've got Silver State 200. That's next weekend. We've got the Sub for Santa at the beginning of December. I'm going to be gone throughout the middle of December. And then...
Let's go bye-bye?
Yeah. I need to get some sunlight. I'll be going to Mexico as tradition holds it. So I'm gonna try to do another video. while I'm in Mexico, but I don't know if I'm going to try to do the same thing I did last time where I tried to upload it from Mexico, because it took like 8 hours to upload like a 6-minute video maybe. I don't think that was really worth it.
Rig with you this time?
Well, I brought my 24 scale with me last time, and it wasn't the most satisfying thing that I'd experienced, because there was some decent rock there, but I felt like I needed a real rig. I don't know what I'm going to do. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but I'm working on that plan. I just don't know how to fit an appealing rig. Maybe maybe that's what I think the video out of, is me like breaking down a comp rig and putting it in my luggage and then having to build it back up to a workable stage once I get there so that I can use it. We'll see. I don't know. We'll figure that one out.
Or is Santa just gonna bring you one of those mini Capras and you're gonna take that?
I wish, but I don't think I can. I don't think that Santa can justify that.
That little gingerly Santa.
And then, of course, I mean, I think the thing that I'm probably most looking forward to for the next little while is the big January New Year event. The SLUT Crawlers New Year event is going to be Sand Hollow Takeover Round 2. That was
fight.
One of the more, in terms of the fact that I didn't like really push it on the channel at all. That was definitely one of the more popular videos that I did on the channel. I didn't put it on the homepage of my channel or anything, and it got like a ton of views. Our last Sand Hollow Takeover, specifically the first part, I think, but all of them did above average for sure. I think people really like to see us just dinking around in territory unknown to us.
Yeah, it's a fun time.
Definitely is a good time.
I think the time you broke your axle on your Mog T?
Yeah. Was that trip? It was, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I just took a little tiny like ledge drop, maybe like 6 inches of just like, just boop
it's
boop.
Like nothing.
Dude, I don't know what happened. It was probably snapped before that, but that's when it actually like fell apart.
Yeah, it did not do well under pressure.
One of those rigs where I'll take it out and something will break on it. An axle shaft, a rear axle shaft, a rear axle housing, a front axle housing.
Just a random part every time you go out breaks. Yeah, that was probably one of the more enjoyable trips I feel like I had over this last year. Just all the SLUT Crawlers all together, all kind of hanging out and just enjoying
one of the trips
Sand
where
Hollow.
We just had fun and we laughed the whole time. We didn't have a motivation to do anything but just crawl.
It's true. It's going to be different this time. It's going to be way different this time. So I wonder if we get like the same feels from it.
I know. Luke invited a bunch of hooligans.
I think I don't even know. I have no response to that.
I'm just kidding.
No, I think it's going to be cool. He was talking about it on the live stream, the Radio Talk live stream, and talking about all the different brands and groups of people that are going to be there. And I thought the thing that stuck out to me was just like how, I think I even commented it, like it's crazy how much we've grown in such a short period of time. To think about last January, we went out there and it was just us, and it's not that we felt crazy, but we definitely were. It was just a bunch of people going out in the chilly Sand Hollow weather to play with a bunch of toys, and now it seems like a lot more than that, even though that's still what it is. It's just we have more people that are interested in doing it with us now.
Much more people just as crazy as us.
Yeah, it's like, whoa, what? Do you guys all like to do this weird stuff too? Huh. That's cool.
Yeah, we got people from every walk of life as well,
That's the fun part about RC.
The one thing I do like about RC, most of the time, everyone parks all of the other shit, all the other views of their life, and just RC, and we just sit there and laugh and have fun.
It's true.
That's what RC is for them.
You can get a bunch of different people together doing the same thing, and even though it seems like this day and age everyone is always so worried about all of their differences, that doesn't really matter when you're just enjoying each other with RC. It's just a good time together. I think it's good. Yeah. Those are all the events that I can think of right now. I mean, I currently am working on my calendar of events for kind of high noon, I guess, events for next year, but I don't have anything solidly put in place yet. I'm just kind of developing all the ideas right now. I don't know. I kind of feel like we're at that stage with everyone. It seems like Luke and Logan are working on the North versus South and still kind of trying to finalize the plans there. I'm trying to finalize my event plans. I don't know, Cameron. I don't know where you're at with next season, if you've even started thinking about that yet. I know that you guys went a lot later into the year, and so I don't know if that means that you start planning earlier or that you probably have a more solid plan put together already than we do. So I'm assuming that, but you just seem like the type of guy to have a more solid plan put together than I do.
He's a lot more organized than you, is what you're saying?
I am organized, yes, but he is more organized. Yes.
I'm not organized at all. I'm so ADHD brained that I can't really focus on one thing at a time.
I feel the same way, but I think in a lot of regards I've tried to hone that, to be able to pull that together and like be able to hone in on what it's like a skill. It's like a skill that you have to develop. Some people it seems like they just innately have this ability to hone in on one thing, and I'm really jealous of that, because I do not have that ability at all. If I were left up to my own devices, my room would be like I'd have to like crawl over stuff, because I would have so many hobbies and so many different projects going on at the same time that it would just become obnoxious. And it's only through like self-control and years of... Say what?
I feel like that's my room behind me.
It's a little bit, but yours is organized chaos in a way. Yours is more organized than mine would be if I just let my brain roam free. You have to put some constraints on it. T, I feel like your shop often feels pretty clean.
It's not too bad.
Which surprises me for how quickly your brain runs faster than my brain does. How do you...
Well, this is different from my room.
Is your room a totally different story?
And then just, broken down rigs.
Graveyard in the corner. Did you guys say, who was it? You, Mike, that showed me that photo that Harley had posted of his broadcasting room, his live stream room?
Oh yeah, he did a Instagram story. He did his room cleanup, and it took him like 6 hours. And during his 6 hours of cleaning, he kept on selling different parts on Instagram, and like all of them were just selling them like that.
Right.
And he also got to realize it's Harley, so there's like 30 rigs behind him.
Well, it made me feel...
and a trailer, and
it made me feel so much better about my room, because I don't have enough space. So I end up kind of like...
It's different. You don't have a messy room, dude. You have a bedroom that's on this side, pointing this way, guys. You see all this over there?
This is like
that's a bedroom on that side.
This is my bedroom behind.
And then he has this hobby thing, and it's really not that bad, and he's just all like emotional about it.
I'm not... Yeah, I'm a little emotional about it sometimes. The part of the reason that I haven't done anything, like, okay, so let's just make the elephant in the room, right? This is a TV. It's pointed right in my bedroom, or right in my bed. It's like a 50-inch like TV that's just sits in front of my bed. Dude, this has functioned more as like like a cubicle divider between my bed and my like workspace than anything else. I plugged that TV in, I turned it on. I was like, "All right, the TV works." I have yet to turn on the TV since that moment when I turned it on. I was like, "Yep, the TV works." And I put
I feel
the
like this is the biggest cover.
After
Like,
9
yeah, until after the 10 o'clock hour.
But
And
it kind of right now, like for the past whatever since I've started doing this stuff, it's like served as the divider between my life and like my
and your addiction.
yeah, my addiction, I guess. Yeah, it's a good way. I mean, in a way, yeah.
That's not the addiction I'm talking about, bud. But okay, we'll move on from this.
I do I do make my bed. So it's not a cover up for not making my bed.
I don't ever
my bed
make
is
my
always
bed. My wife makes the bed. I'll openly admit that right now, ladies and
and
gentlemen.
that is a good if you're not in that habit, everyone listening, if I can instill one thing in you today is to make your bed. Just like get up, get out of your bed, make it. And that's like a great start of your day right there. Got a few hi, hello, Romeo. First time seeing you here, I think.
Hey, Romeo.
Yeah,
Where are you
it's
from,
good
Romeo?
yeah, where are you from? Building a C3 for Northwest South next year. What? So when you say C3, like a class 3, or now when I see C3, I just think RC Speedy C3s,
No, he's building a C3 or class 3.
like an actual class 3. Hello from the south end of the state. Hello, hello. How's the south end of the state looking? Is it nice and rainy over there as well, or is it a little bit better than we're getting it? I was jealous of Luke
Yeah.
and
Bring up
Dustin
about
going
that
to
picture
Moab.
that he had.
Oh man,
You know that picture, everyone?
was that in our regular chat?
Yeah.
Let's see if I can find that.
It's a pretty cool picture, guys. Like they took off to Moab and they went and did a little comp down there. I don't know exactly what it was about, or who ran it, but they got this thick picture of their rigs on the real rig, not the fake rig, the real rig.
Let's see.
Am I making too much noise? Is this too loud?
You're good too.
Yeah, I couldn't hear it.
Clear skies and about mid-50s. Sounds nice, dude. I wouldn't mind being that outside.
They got a lot of good pictures. There it is.
Make the magic happen, Ali.
There we go. Share that photo for a moment. I don't know. I don't know who photo cred goes to. I think this is Luke's phone. I'm guessing.
Like one.
Yeah, very good photo. Beautiful.
To get a little portion, I can braise together for you guys real quick, but it's gonna take me a minute.
Look at that photo.
Just gorgeous.
That's a good-looking photo.
That's a good-looking photo.
Props, boys. That's gonna go on some covers on some Facebook pages. I'm gonna call it right now, Luke. I don't know. I want to know how many contests he's won. How many photo contests? See if him and T are actually like in the running with each other.
Yeah, actually, you know what? This was something that I kind of wanted to talk about today, and it seems like a good enough place as any to talk about it. It seems like enough people are interested in it too, or enough people want to know something about it that it seems like a worthwhile topic, which is like RC and photography. And I know that like T has probably some good stuff to say about that, but I do have to say that like Mike, even your phone, dude, phones are getting ridiculous these days. You can just point your phone at just about anything and click the button, and it makes a beautiful looking photo that you have to take no time editing. You have to take no time doing anything. It's already at your fingertips. You just post it directly to social media. It's actually upsetting Like,
Is this you trying to prop me up to say that I need to start using those pictures that I take of and actually do
yes,
something for my Instagram?
yes, you should. Yes, I'm saying that. Look at Cameron, dude. Cameron was like, I mean, I'm not like throwing shade or anything, but he was like the like no follower Andy, dude. He like had nobody like it's like he came out of nowhere.
No
No follower Andy. It's like
follower Andy.
no follower
What
Andy. Yeah, yeah. It's okay. It's okay that
that?
you've never heard that phrase. It he like came out of nowhere. And now he's getting like tons of attention on his photos because he started posting just really good photos and interesting content too. That's the other thing I've noticed about Cameron. Figured out that he's actually, well, I don't, he probably knew this beforehand. He seems to have, through his content, figured out that he is like actually doing really interesting things, and if he just takes videos of what he's doing, like working on his bench or whatever, that it gets a lot of like likes and follows and stuff. I don't know. I'm just like
yeah, like, you know.
So to say that you also have that content and that ability to just be like, throw it down.
Alex, such a good guy. I always try to prop up his friends.
For a long time, I've been telling him a long time to just start taking more pictures and just post them. Dude, you take dope shots and you have a dope
one part
camera.
of that advice. He does take pictures. He just doesn't post them.
It's not hard. You don't need like crazy hashtags like everybody does. Just post shit. Just unload it's a photo dump, basically. That's what I use mine for, the photo dump. Take all my favorite shots and just put them somewhere.
Little memory book.
Yeah,
you look back at it.
Be like, oh, I took this shot.
Yeah, it's kind of fun. It's like as long as you enjoy whatever you put up there, that's all that really. But then in the same light, you know, when I say that, if you don't enjoy putting anything up there, then don't do it.
I personally have been like DSLR shots for like actual, like with a big camera for a long time. So it's hard for me to get out of the, you know, DSLR train. But with these new phones coming in, it's kind of hard not to get into the new phone scene now and just use that because, I mean, look at Luke's photos. Look at half the Instagram videos are all just
100%. I mean, look at what gets the most attention is like 99% of the time it is shot on an iPhone. You couldn't tell the difference between whether it's shot on an iPhone from 5 years ago or an iPhone from last year. Like it's just and a lot of the most viral content gets like reshared so many times. By the time I see it, it's like downsampled like 6 different times. Like doesn't even look like the original content anymore because of how many times it's been shared, and people still watch the crap out of it. So I don't know that I'm unconvinced that content quality really matters. Well, maybe
to an extent.
But there's different.
You have an eye for that shit.
Right. Well, and there's different like levels of quality, or there's different dimensions of quality, right? There's like the quality of the image, which maybe you and I care about because like we're going to spend a lot of time like getting the right equipment and trying to put together like the best composition and make things look the best from the eye of like a photographer. At least I'm putting that around my own name, like photographer. I would say you're more of a photographer than I am, but either way, you know, we're trying to make it look good. But then there's just the quality of the content in terms of like what people want to see, right? Like that is still quality in a way. Like whether or not it's that they want to see a side by side like flipping over, like mid flipping over, or whether or not they want to see like a scale rig that's like really, really well done scale rig, like that still is part of the quality of the content. And like I think that's maybe where a lot of people don't quite understand. Like if you're gonna take a photo of a rig on the carpet in your living room and post it to Instagram, you can do that and it could be like high quality content, but it's not because you're putting it in like this beautiful scenery background or whatever. It's probably because you built like a super cool looking rig, or because you have some information or knowledge about how that rig works that someone else doesn't have. Like, but for me, like I couldn't post a picture of a rig like on a carpet in my living room because I don't know dick about RC cars or trucks and how to make them look cool or like how to do it. Like I have to use my camera to do the talking for me, but other people don't necessarily have to like do that. At least that's how I feel about it.
Yeah. Didn't we make that cool shot the other night of your rig where I just flipped my rig on its side?
Dude, that was brilliant. Yeah, that was a good idea, man. And I totally used that as a Halloween post. Like I was sitting there like with my camera, I was trying to get like a cool looking night shot and I just couldn't make it happen. And then Mike comes over and he just like flips his rig upside down. He's got like red rock lights and it just cast this like perfect red shadow over the pig and I was like, "Oh. I would have never thought to do something like that." And it turned out brilliantly. Yeah.
Yeah, the phone's pretty automatic on just setting something up and having it look good. With a camera, you have to actually manually set some things up to make it look good. Do test shots even sometimes to make it look good. But I think the one thing that a camera has above a phone still is aspect ratio.
Yep.
Meaning I can zoom in from 120 millimeters or 300 millimeters and get a way better looking kind of aspect, in my opinion, than you can from 5 centimeters away with your wide angle phone. You know
so
what I'm
for people that don't know what T's talking about, let me see if I can actually, this is like a good opportunity to bring up like a what would it would be like lens aspect ratios and do this and see. It's like depth.
Yeah, depth of field.
Depth of field, and it like the.
It should just be like some car photography samples that you can look on Google Images.
Let's do, or actually, you know what? Like, yeah, that's a good idea.
So one would be like, you know, a 20 mil, 50 mil, 70, 250, something like that.
For those that don't know what they're fully talking about, I don't know either.
We're about to, okay, this isn't like a terrible, this isn't a terrible example.
Kidding.
This is a pretty good example.
I was trying to fill the dead air.
Let's see. This is what we're talking about here. If I can switch us over to the screen. Okay. So for those who don't understand like focal lengths, this is what T is talking about. With like a DSLR camera, you can with anything besides a phone camera. If you get a real camera, one of the things that a real camera does that a phone camera doesn't do is it has a real lens with like different focal lengths. It's actually using multiple pieces of glass and like putting them at different lengths from each other to create an aspect ratio of sorts, or an aspect that you can change. So some cameras, like my camera, you can take the lens off and put a different lens on. Other cameras, you just like you can change that focal length within one lens, and usually they call those fixed lens cameras. The fixed lenses are usually a little bit cheaper, but they don't have quite as much versatility. If you get one where you can remove the lens and put different lenses on, it's probably more versatile but more expensive because you have to buy multiple lenses. But this is an example of what happens at different focal lengths, right? So if I put an RC car at 135 millimeters, you can see how the subject becomes more one with the background in a way. Even though there's still separation, even though the background's still kind of fuzzy and out of focus and the car is in focus, the car feels more like it's part of the scene. Where if you look at like the opposite end of the spectrum at the 21 millimeters, like it pulls it out of the scene, right? So like the car is being more isolated from the scene. So when you're dealing with small subjects like a RC truck, the larger the focal distance, the longer you can make that focal distance, the more you can make the truck look like part of the scene. And so that's That's why I kind of figured that out. It took me a little while to figure out why that is, and to actually like, because I've been through photography classes and I've learned about this, but like to actually see it in play that way, like to actually see such an obvious kind of example of that principle in play is really cool. So yeah. Sorry, camera nerd. We lost like 10 viewers right there. It just.
Like to, try and get cool shots.
Go on ramble. We've been doing it all morning, actually.
It's like I just kind of,
morning.
I'm not usually one to take like technical rants, but if there's anything I know about, it's like cameras, and so I was gonna take that one opportunity to like give it a little technical rant for a second.
Well, we got Jones RC Crawlers from New Mexico saying hi, working on his comp rigs. Hi, Jones.
Very nice in New Mexico. I like it. How's the weather in New Mexico? So it's also crappy. Seems like I just imagine when the weather's crappy in Utah that the whole like
nation is
United
crappy.
States is just like yeah, I hate this rain. Some guys up in Montana are like it's just snowing on them. It's just a rule of thumb.
Sometimes, in my opinion.
Say what now?
The Utah winter kind of sucks, in my opinion, sometimes.
What is it about Utah winter that sucks to you?
I just don't like the cold. How about
that? Okay, that seems like a more proper acknowledgement of what's going on here.
I don't do any winter sports. I don't have any winter activities. So I literally just sit and build RC cars all winter.
I mean, sitting and building, that seems like a pretty good...
Shitty.
They just need to go outside more, is the problem. We need to buy T a pair of snowshoes and print him a pair of snow tracks, and he'll be happy. He'll be good to go. Well, and maybe like a whole snow gear set. A really warm jacket. Or a unitard. What is that? Like a one piece. A snow one piece.
Or
sunny and
get
55.
Him a banana hammock and some snowshoes.
You're just gonna send him out in a banana hammock with snowshoes on. Okay, good luck, bud.
Have fun.
Have fun.
Looks like we got 55 degrees down there in New Mexico. Sounds lovely, bud. How cold is it over here?
Right here. Where we are right now?
Yeah, 45. Like cloudy.
Where is it? Right
45.
You said it's 45? Let's see where it is. It says 48 for me.
Well, it's because you're in the city.
That's true. I get all the nasty air. It's delightful. Feels so good on my lungs right now. So good.
Well.
Anything else? I'm trying to think of what we haven't covered. We didn't have a whole lot to cover in terms of what we've been doing because it's been a lot of just like little building things.
I can show off my current build, I guess.
I actually am curious to see where you're at.
This build came from my previous Capra. I had a Capra straight axle conversion with a West Desert Wheeler 3-link mount. Took it out to comp out down south. Trevor Tyrell. I don't know if his Instagram name is different or if he goes by a different Instagram name.
I think that's his Instagram name. Pretty sure.
Yeah, he threw a little comp for all the homies, invitational only, and it was class 1, 2, 3. Has continuous, non-stop. I think Alec actually has his previous video on YouTube is all about that comp out there. So if you're interested, check that one out for sure. But I took my class there. Well, my barely ran Capra 4-wheel steer, straight axle conversion, and I had some cut and shuts from West Desert Wheeler installed on there, and it was basically a train cart. It didn't do well at all. It kept tipping over. It just had no, balance, I guess. It was a very clumsy rig. So I took that apart just because I hated it, and I'm gonna build it.
Immediately hated it.
I just didn't. I was like, there's no way I can go with this to make me like it. So I took it apart, and I'm gonna build a Class 3 later with those Shift RC wheels and the cut and shuts. But I need some capper portals. I need to find some first, someone selling them or whatever. So I took that apart, took the trans out, the electronics out, left the axles because I had some rock jocks chilling. So I guess I can show you the rig first. But we're chilling on just like a cheapo eBay carbon fiber chassis rails.
Gotta love it.
And then I've got some Rock Pirates towers on the back, just for now for a mock-up.
Very nice.
TRX4 shocks on here that I rebuilt recently, so they're nice and buttery. I've got those.
Are those the? Is it just the regular TRX4? Are they called wide? Are those the wide bores? Whatever.
Big bore.
Big bore. That's what it is.
Called. These are not the big bores. These are the Traxxas TRX4 pull-off, basically, that I've upgraded the shafts. I don't know if you can see it, but they're like a gold shaft.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So it's just a smoother shaft, basically. It's a lot better. It takes shock oil a little bit differently, so you got to go lighter than you normally would.
Oh, interesting.
I've just got some eBay steel sliders on there that are multiple mount for a bunch of stuff. Mike 3D printed me a flat skid for it that I'm using. And then links are a combo of whatever I had left. I have so many links just in a pile that none of them are like, like here's a set
it's
for
not
this.
Standardized set.
Bag of links, basically. So I threw together what I thought was the right wheelbase, but it came out to 11.5. But I like it, so I'm leaving it at a short wheelbase at 11.5.
Just because it felt right.
Because everything articulates perfectly. I like how it's all set up. I might have to extend the front just a tad, but besides that, that would just take longer rod ends.
There you go, guys. Pro tip of the day is you just leave yourself a Ziploc bag full of links, different just variety of kits. You just throw in and you just kind of shake the Ziploc bag, like you just open it up, and that's how you build.
If you know what you're doing, you'll know what links to grab. I've got let's see, an NSD RC RS700 up front for the servo. Got some D's bands up there up front.
Did that dual servo mount work out?
Yes. Mike also printed me a dual servo mount up front. For the front shock towers, these are actually like a stock shock tower, but they're steel. So I have steel front shock towers for strength and stuff. The trans is a Stealth X trans with some Reedy Radon Crawler 16-turn 5-slot motor that I'm testing out.
And that is definitely close to the one that I'm running on mine.
For now.
What type of ESC?
It's like a Spectrum, let's see, brushed ESC. It's pretty weak 2-amp BEC. It's got those pins that you take out to put in your drag brake.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So
custom calibration.
Pretty dope little build, simple setup.
I dig
and
it.
Then
for people who haven't, for people who don't know, now that you've got the body in your hands, there's a little, you've got like a bar that goes across your steering servo, and it looks like maybe magnets or something on it. You want to describe what's going on there for people who haven't seen that before?
Bar across my steering servo?
There's a bar like above your steering servo. Yeah. What's that?
Mounting.
Oh. This little thing?
Yep.
Right here?
Yep. Is that coming into play on this build? Or are you building around it so it's not going to matter?
Just mounting support. It's not how I'm mounting the body necessarily, but this is just an eBay thing that you can buy. So it's axial standard width that just go right over your post holes. and then there's these magnets with holes in them that have a screw, and you can move these magnets across.
I love that.
Previously, how I've mounted this body on other rigs, this has been mounted on a TRX4 in the past. So I have a bunch of like magnets already like molded into the body.
Yep.
So these two are the two I'm using, which are flipped and reversed of these two. So they don't like
interfere with each other. Yep.
And this was my previous TRX4 mounts over here, but they're molded into the body and I could never get them out. So now my new mounts are right here. So basically how you do this is or at least how I have mounted these magnets, which is super, super hard. It's like not an easy feat to mount a freestanding body without any like post holes or something.
Yep.
Usually I'll get your like magnet system set up on your chassis first. And then you'll set up like a bunch of magnets on top of those. So you'll stack like 4 high maybe.
Right.
Put glue on your very top one. You just squirt glue on the very top one. And then very carefully come over here with your body and set it where you want it and pray that those 4 magnets hit your hood.
And so actually stick to it.
And pre-adjustment and just kind of guess work on how to do certain things. But with how this is already set up, I can just kind of set mine down and it'll magnet drop in my front.
Yeah, that's super nice.
I've made this back piece that like follows the line of the actual body.
Okay.
And this is an aluminum like piece that I have.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cut out for my TRX4 transmission, but leaving this because I like it covering up the back and all my stickers are on there.
Yeah.
And I did a good job with like doing this side cut.
Yeah.
And that matches the body really well. So I'm gonna leave that, but that's currently how I'm mounting this body now. So I've got like 2 holes just like hidden in here.
And just regular posts.
I've mounted these temporary little like bars right here. You see this?
Yeah. Yep.
It's actually a bumper mount for like a Injora bumper. And I've just screwed it into my plate right here, and then this slides right next to that on my body, and then I just screwed into it.
That's nice. Yeah.
Going to do later is get better bumper or better mounts that are straight, because these ones are Yankees. And then on here, what I've done in the past, if I'm ever like doing a screw mount, is I'll actually find my hole, and then I'll glue a nut like around that hole,
so that you can thread into it.
The whole nut, and then leave that hole open, and then I can just screw into that, and it'll be solid.
I like that.
And as long as you're wrenching down on the thing, that nut will stay there forever. It just depends what you're gluing it on there with. And it won't be heavy and cover up the hole with the glue. Just be light at first, and then pack around it once it's dried, and you can.
Once you know it's on there, yeah.
Just make sure you can screw into it and it's in the right spot, because you want to be able to just pop it off if it's not. But yeah, it's just stupid little things on mounting bodies that you have to like basically engineer yourself to get it to like sit right and all that.
Right.
Which is the hardest part in my opinion, to like get custom bodies and all that stuff done. With cage work, you can do it a little bit differently, You can kind of use the cage work itself to mount the body too, and just build tabs off the cage, and then you can screw it into the body like that, and now it's all solid cage and stuff. But if you want to take the body on and off constantly because your battery is under there or whatever,
then you kind of have to work around that.
Systems to try and get it to fit right. And a lot of companies sell like sliders where they screw into the side of your body, and you can use that, or there's lots of body.
I think the first one I ever followed that does that type of thing is Shrink RC. He does a lot of different sliders that will fit in a lot of different hard bodies. What is it?
Really well.
Yeah. Yeah.
See. Some of these bodies that you're buying online, this is a mess under here. There's glue holding this body together everywhere, but they have these little like holes, you know? And some of those are made for their mounting process. And you are at the width of the chassis rails or at the width of something that is, standard.
Yep.
And then you those. But the only problem with those is usually they're too high for what you want, and you can't really shorten it without like drilling your own holes or just coming up with something different. So,
I think that's where having a 3D printer could come in handy. For the longest time, I've been trying to. Oh, that could be the 3D print that I actually showed off that I made, but I made it a while ago. But for the longest time, I think I've got.
Now I have to look it up to see if they have any Injora body films.
For the longest time, I've been trying to perfect this, and I think I finally have. This is the it looks like a birthday candle, kind of. It totally looks like a little birthday candle. This is the hard body mount for the TF2 for the Marlin. That has a pin end so that you don't have to screw your body in every time. This is kind of the same. The idea for this was sparked for me by Sam at West Valley, because the way that Sam, and I'm sure this has got to be like a universal thing in the hobby at this point because it's brilliant. And say what?
Just stretch their body over post holes, basically.
Yeah, you take so like the normal TF2 body mounts, the side body mounts, you just would normally screw a screw into it. So the way that Sam gets around that, you just do a headless screw, and you just screw the headless screw in, and then you can just use that and just stretch the body around it. So this is the same concept, just 3D printed, so that you don't have to. I mean, I guess there's really no advantage to. Oh, come on. There's no advantage to this over the, Sam's idea, besides the fact that I can print these in like, half an hour or whatever, and they're pretty.
Right.
And now I finally got them resilient enough.
It's always been the hard part for me, mounting. Especially if you don't want any mounting showing.
Yes, yeah. And that's, I mean, you still kind of have a mounting showing, but with these, the 3D printed ones, this pin, I am able to make this like the perfect length. So I made it pretty dang short, and sometimes the body does pop off of it, but I think generally it's a pretty good length, and you can barely see it when it actually is like mounted on the body. It's pretty sneaky, I think.
We could come up with a body mount process. It would be super easy to do. Like, I could probably design it in CAD if I really wanted to, but I don't know how really like it works in 3D printing. I don't have all that stuff.
Honestly, it is surprisingly easy to design something, and as long as it's not like a really complex thing that you're designing, the process of like exporting it and putting it into your like 3D printer slicer is so quick.
Oh,
how do I share a picture, Alec? I think I found one.
It would literally be like a tray with magnets, and then it would mount to the side of the body rails, and then this would be inside, and then you have a flat piece on top on the inside of your body, and then you just smash them together.
I feel like that wouldn't be that hard to well, I say that. I mean, it'd be hard for anyone like me with my level of skill, but not that hard.
Jace is really good at this.
CAD stuff?
Jace, no problem. You should see his new rig that he was, getting to. Man, there's some sweet design work going into the interior on that and how we mounted everything. He had like, inset magnets into his 3D prints and all that.
He did. Well done. He was going hard. What is this that you shared with me, Sir Mike?
That is body mount supports for Injora Jeep for a TR4.
I don't know.
Pretty much what he has. It's a 3D print for the mounts for that.
Oh, would you look at that? I'll that's a lot for me to get it up on screen right now.
I know. If I send it to you and not try to do it myself. But I found some, T.
Yes, he did find some. Huh. Raymond, how's it going? It's a beautiful Sunday here. We're just enjoying ourselves in the High Noon Saloon, of course.
High Noon Saloon.
It's high noon at high noon in the High Noon Saloon. Say that 5 times fast.
Go, Alex.
No.
Well, what else? Anything else, boys?
I think I've thoroughly ranted everyone's ears off. I think this was a fun kind of, there wasn't too many prompts. We just chatted it up as we like to do here on Sundays. Anything that you fine gentlemen would like to contribute before we get going? Anything you'd like to plug? Anything like that?
Well, I want the snow, but I wouldn't really mind some nice weather so we could go trailing.
So Mike is asking all stream viewers to pray for nice weather.
Yeah.
For us, just our area. You can pray for whatever you want in your area.
I wouldn't mind going out and trailing.
Yeah, I think that would be
a nice thing just for shits and giggles,
Just test it out a little bit. This is what T likes to do. T likes to get a rig like 25% completed and then just like send it. It's just like, all right, let's go. We're ready for the trail now.
And then after I destroy it, I'll go back and
then you rebuild it. Every time it's like you take it out, you destroy it, and then it's like comes back the next time it's like 50% done. And then it gets destroyed again, and then the next time it comes back it's like 75% done. And it's kind of like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy though, and like never quite gets finished. It like always gets destroyed like before it gets finished.
Really.
Exactly. It's like it doesn't matter how long the process is. It just always gets like destroyed.
I don't think you've ever had a finished rig before.
I have is Grim.
He's not finished.
Raymond does have a good question. Maybe this is a good finishing thoughts question. Is what do we think of the new? Have you guys looked at the new Sorka rules? What we think of the new Sorka rules?
I heard they're more lenient in Class 1. Kinda. You don't have to use like welded towers or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't gone through everything, every change, but I did watch the update video and then the update to the update video, and I feel like my biggest takeaway, I made that whole my last video. If anyone's interested in I feel like me ranting more about this than I will right now, but the Friday upload talked a bit about this, and I would say I'm happy that it seems like they're just trying to make it a little bit more accessible. And then the biggest change in my mind that stood out to me was the fact that it seemed like they're trying to set the precedent that the rules can be more flexible, and that they plan to like take feedback and change the rules and make it more of a living and breathing document than it has been, which I think is cool. I like it.
I personally haven't really read up on it too much. I kind of went over it, like, glazed over the new rules and whatnot, but I don't know. It doesn't really bother me too much personally.
doesn't affect you too much.
I like Class 1 the most out of all of them. If I were to run like comps competitively, I'd probably focus on Class 1.
Right.
That's just my style, I guess. I like a more realistic rig. But as far as like all the rules that they had previously, I don't think any of the rules now are going to be like a major, huge change on like performance.
Right. There's the way that it actually like
Class 1 that were like insane performers, and having a flat rail chassis with integrated shock tubes now is not going to change.
I feel like people have been willing to push that so far as it is that I don't know that it's gonna. I think people are always going to be pushing for performance in any category they find. Say what now?
I said a lot of people's rigs probably aren't even going to change, you know? Like, just because you can have a couple different and it's going to perform better than your already proven Class 1 rig, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, my Class 1 rig has stock TRX4 rail, and when I show people up in it, they're mind blown that it's a TRX4 base that can keep up with flat problem. I mean, I can put money on it.
And anyone interested in seeing more of that rig, I think that's going to be next Friday. I think I was going to ask your permission, but now I'm just asking your permission on the live stream so that you can't say no.
Hey, I wouldn't. Whenever you want to do any of my stuff, man, that Class 3 run makes me embarrassed.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say, we don't have to post the whole thing, but I definitely want to post that freaking Class 1 run.
I think I took 3rd overall.
I think it's I think the whole thing was respectable. I would not. Well, but that's just me. I've posted a lot of shit runs of my own, so.
Go ahead and post all the footage. But if Mike is up there, just
just a caveat that it's like I'm a better driver than this. Just a little asterisk.
It's now this rig. Like, I had a bad setup on that thing. It wasn't bad parts. It wasn't a bad rig necessarily. It was a bad setup. Like the whole thing that I did to it was just not a performer. It was meant.
It needed more tender loving care, in my opinion.
A lot of time for me to be like happy with it, and that was one I threw together, and it was like, oh, my first 4-wheel steel rig.
Jones RC, my TRX4 also still has the 2-speed with the selectable locking diffs, and every time I want to lock my back diff, I have to reach into my body and make sure that diff is locked, because that little micro servo is not having a good time with its life anymore. But I still love it. Still love the locking diffs. Should probably just lock them out. Yeah, I think the stream's like seen it, but like we haven't really highlighted. We haven't really made it known that this is like the most bad. By bad, I mean good. It's the best Class 1 rig that anyone's shown me so far.
So, I mean, it's nothing crazy. It is kind of crazy. But these axles are one of the main performers on this rig. These are the GRC TRX4 axles.
They're like the GRC, I can't remember.
They're GRC G2 axles.
They're what now?
GRC G2 axles.
Yeah, the G2s. Aluminum, so right?
Meters of clearance on both the rear and the fronts. So anyone that owns a TRX4 can already see a difference in the knuckle right there.
Oh, yeah.
So the knuckle, they figured out how to place it on top instead of on the bottom.
Yep.
Your actual C-hub. So the C-hub goes on top of this knuckle placement instead of hanging way down low. But that eliminates a gear inside your portal, basically. But these axles are huge on like what they do. They offer Ackerman steering. You have a lot more steering angle with these axles.
Yep.
They have a better articulation geometry. It comes with their own links that work well with this. As far as front shock, like any shock towers that you get on a TRX4 is going to perform the same. You can't get any more or less articulation on these things. As far as angle, you can get angle and try and get a better like
more or less scoop.
Yeah, scoop on your shock or whatever. But these axles and then this transmission and motor mount are the only two things that like really throw this rig like to a different dimension. The motor mount is from In the Works RC. It's their flat belly skid / motor mount.
Oh,
it lowers them quite a bit. in my opinion, it's the best thing you can do to make a TRX4 perform. As far as that, you want to get I have a weird
servo mount
on here. I don't know where it's from, but it's basically just a TRX4 mount. Sideways, kind of weird setup on those, on their TRX4 mounts. As far as links go with their, in the Works RC links. They work the best for
the high clearance ones.
I would just use them on the rears. You don't need them on the front. I've tried them on the front. They give you no more clearance than you already have. These fronts are already above like the skid.
Right.
So there's like nothing for those to hit really when you're like flat. Like it's already there. So if you look at the clearance on this thing, there's no links or axle shafts
below the skid.
And just that alone is like it's
and that's a
huge.
Class 1 truck.
As far as the TRX4 shocks, I'd keep them as the TRX4 shocks, and then throw the Low C Mini T spring mod on them. However you can. There's a bunch of people that sell 3D little cups and stuff for them.
Right.
But it's basically just, you got your Low C setup on there.
Boom. Mike's got it covered, dude.
I've got also a Bauhaus RC tray that like a battery tray that I've kind of like made myself. I've cut this thing up a lot.
I was going to say that looks pretty customized.
But this is kind of what I did to mine. I've completely chopped it. So I've got mine where I can kind of pull it up and see.
And actually like get to the...
Again, that mount lowers your transmission, it lowers your motor, it brings everything down even further, so it's like sitting in between your chassis rails now, or even lower chassis rails. You might have to extend your rear drive shaft a little bit because it moves this transmission forward. It also moves a lot more forward. So, like with your stock like servo mount and stuff, you might have to like cut that out a little bit depending on if you have a 550 or a 540 cam. But this Bauhaus tray literally sits like below my chassis rails. So my battery's sitting like at the highest chassis rail height. It's not sitting on top of the chassis rail. It's literally inside of this little box right here.
Right.
So, and then my links, I've actually put a little portion out.
So they can perfectly clear through that.
It just takes a lot of that was just customizing and getting everything right.
Well, and I think a lot of what like the customizing comes down to taking it out, like your method that we were kind of almost making fun of taking it out when it's 25% done is like, in a way, that's like a way to make your rig, like you're testing one piece at a time as opposed to throwing a whole rig together, throwing it out on the trail and being like, oh, like it doesn't work or whatever. You're more like putting a piece on, going out, testing it, seeing if it works, coming back, modifying, seeing if what you do makes it better or worse, and then like going from there, it seems like.
Yeah, it's just a lot of like tampering with stuff. This is the rig that I have the most time in like actual test like stuff. Like me, I would take it up a certain line that I knew out in Middle Moab and do it 1,000 times, and I knew I couldn't get it with this setup, so I'd go and do it another way, and it would absolutely destroy it.
Right.
With just a little, and all of those little tweaks they actually do something really well. I actually ran a wider stance up front on this rig. I never told anyone about this, but I actually have wider hubs up front.
Oh.
And I have shorter hubs in the rear.
So you're pulling a Cameron.
I did this before Cameron was showing it off.
You hear that, Cameron?
The reverse mullet.
I know it helps a lot. And you can actually, it helps with your side hilling even, just because it keeps your front just a little bit higher.
Right. A little bit more weight, a little higher up.
Helps with climbing up
like,
stuff.
If that makes sense. Not higher up on the body, like higher up on the side hill.
A performance tweak that you can do. I've seen people do wider in the rear also, but I've noticed you're a lot more tippy that way.
Right.
Just torque is coming from the front. You don't want torque coming from the back and kind of throwing you forward.
So it kind of, yeah, exactly. It counterbalances that or
But
counters the torque.
as far as this rig, I had a really nice like ESC motor system in here, but I figured I didn't need it because I don't drive this that much, and it's kind of just now the Class 1 rig that I only drive during Class 1 comps. But
So now it looks like 1080? Is that what's in it?
having 1080 and a ProMaster Sport 10 turn,
Nice.
the 550 can, and then I've chopped the stock side rails to kind of fit the width of this body, and same with this, like the stock TRX4 mounts that you could slide down, the big square mounts that slide into your stock mounts.
Right.
I've cut off of those where your pin goes in, and I've just glued a magnet
onto it.
So
I like it.
then, I can just slide this over and bam, it
Magnetizes.
has the sliders perfect.
It's a good way to do it.
And for the back, I literally just put magnets on the chassis rails itself, put a piece of glue on top, and then just shove the bed on top of it. So
advantages of a drop bed.
And then they stick to the chassis rails.
Right. All right, there you go. The lowdown on the Class 1 rig.
Just 3 major components, I'd say, and you've got like a really good...
it's really, right, it's like the GRC G2s. Is that what they...
G2 axles.
The GRC G2s, the in the works links and skid.
And then, in my opinion, I have a lot of overdrive in this thing.
Right.
So I have front Traxxas overdrive and the rear underdrive. And
I mean the different size hubs, but that's like...
I'd say the biggest thing to make a TRX4 go like performance-wise is to not run 475 tires on it.
419. 419s. Yeah.
419, like its performance range. If you go
my
above
Lord,
that,
Mike.
a little too high on your cog. Your center of gravity is a little too high in these things for a bigger tire. But the second you put 419s on, this rig kills it. Throw some tiny tires on, get a flat skid from In the Works, get their links, get the G2 axles. G2 axles are expensive, but they do have 3 stages. So they have the steel ones, which is what I'm running, which are like for the housings, I think, or 120 maybe for the housings.
Yep.
And then they have CNC versions. If you can get your hands on the CNC aluminum versions, I would say go that route, but they're just as expensive as Curry's. So you're kind of
weigh that option.
Yeah, and they're kind of hard to find. The way you know is they're going to be the clear anodized, the white,
like silver or whatever.
The Vanquish ones would be. But
like
they're around like 50 to 300, I think, per set.
Yeah.
I think for
this I found it's like
300
239. This might not be. I need to select.
They have 3 versions. They have 2 CNC versions. I know that their 170-75 grade is like their most expensive, and then they have their mid grade CNC, also expensive. And then their pot metal ones, which are I believe a cast metal, where they just cast the whole axle in a mold or something. But I have no problems with them. The only issue is the portal axle housing, like the portal stub shaft, is not interchangeable with the stock TRX4 portal stub shaft.
Ooh, that is
different
unfortunate. So you have to carry spares of it totally.
So you have to get different. Just don't break the stub shafts.
Oh, I see. They do. They come with their own. Yeah.
Yeah, they their own stub shaft. So it's a stub shaft, gear, and bearing all in one.
Yeah.
The bearing goes inside of the gear.
Yep.
On the inside, and the gear and the stub shaft is all one piece.
Oh, that's crazy looking. Huh.
And come with it, but they don't. It's not interchangeable. I broke one in the past, and it took me 6 months to get
Oof.
another one sent to
Ooh.
me. But that's just because you can't buy them off of like Asia Tees or where they're actually from, because these aren't distributed here in the U.S.
Right.
Like the number one thing in other countries for as far as TRX4 goes, but if you ever like break a stub shaft, which is really hard to do, mine fell off like a 15-foot drop straight to the wheel in Little Moab. You know when you get to Little Moab and there's that big rock face, you know, when you're looking up.
Oh yeah,
into
yeah. One of the first big ones right there.
Yeah, I was wrapping around that and my rig slipped and it fell all the way down there. And it wheel first. So as long as you're not doing that, I'm sure it'll survive.
So sorry, Logan, but you'll probably break them. But otherwise, I think most normal people don't put their rigs through that on a normal basis.
That's the only downside to those axles. You can get them, but I had to contact somebody in Taiwan, just like a personal dude in Taiwan. He had to go buy them
and then send them to you.
So it was in the ass, but their axles are worth it, in my opinion. I think they're sweet, and I bought them, I don't know, 2 years ago. So who knows? They might have a more readily available parts list for them now or something.
Right. There you go, dude. That's the secret sauce to how to set up a TRX4. I think we'd get it out of you that easily, but we got it out of you that easily. Now we can just kill you. We don't need you anymore.
Boom. Need my services.
All right, boys. Well, we've been on for a little over an hour and a half. Went a little over there, but it's always, we had to make up for being a little late, which is totally my fault for last minute designing the
gotta have the high noon at high noon at the high noon at the high noon.
It's the high noon at high noon at the high noon saloon, dude. Brother. All right, everyone. Well, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. We got 13 people still with us concurrent. We've had 85 drop in and out throughout the entire stream, so we really appreciate that. And of course, as always, we'll keep the stream up on the channel afterwards so that you can all watch it after the fact if you weren't able to catch it live. But thank you all very much. I think next weekend is going to be potentially when I start releasing some information about what I'm doing for the 2,000 subscriber thing. We're over 2,000 subs, and I want to thank every single one of you amazing people for making that happen. And yeah, go out and enjoy some scale crawling. So, okay, we'll see y'all later. Bye.